Nate Leemeister,
Limeister.
Leemeister, here to demonstrate proper mulching on the trees that we have here at the library. So thank you for coming.
All right, so today I'm going to talk about proper mulching techniques, the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, so mulching it's one of the most beneficial things that you can do for your trees. However, over mulching is bad. So over here, I've got a demonstration of, or an example of over mulching. Uh, in the industry, we call this, the little nickname term is volcano mulching. You can see that it's all piled up really high, kind of looks like a volcano. What happens is every year landscapers or homeowners are putting more mulch on their trees, and they don't give it enough time to let it decompose. So what you have is it builds up, and there is, like I said, there's not an opportunity for the mulch to break down and go into the soil and let the tree use it as needed. So a lot of people do this because they want that color of the mulch. They want it to look nice. And so they're always putting new on top. However, when you do that, our next example is right over here, is what happens when you over mulch. So if we look really close, you can see on this tree, the wire basket wasn't removed. So that was the planting height of the tree when it was first put in. You can see everything over it. All these roots that are over top of that were caused by the volcano mulching or the over mulching. So the roots have this nutrient-rich material right above them, so they're growing up into that and using the nutrients, and they're going above the ground. So being above the ground, it's going to cause a lot of different damages to the tree and to infrastructure. So when you got a root like this that's going straight out towards the sidewalk, there's going to be a good chance that it's going to get bigger, lift, heave, break the sidewalks. And right here is a good example of a girdling root where the root grew around and it's feeding off this nutrient-rich material, and it's choking out the other roots. Also, this material here can become very matted, and it won't let as much air and water down in there. So that also affects the tree. As you can see, this tree that we have right here is struggling mightily. It should be fully leafed out by now, and it's only got about a 25% of its leaf material that it should have. So, I mean, eventually this is going to lead to the death of the tree, which we can see by this tree here. So our last example here is the good that we can do with mulching. So if we do proper mulching, we're going to have our tree site. We're going to try to make it at least 3 foot wide around the tree. So I've already removed all the old mulching material that was on there. And you can see on this tree, there is some stem girdling roots coming up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove those right now so we don't have that issue in our future. I'm just going to take these roots right off. You can see this one here, it's coming right out, and it's going to be a big problem. So I can take it off right there, and that way it's going to die off. This one here would be another girdling root, so I'll just nip it off. Here, another smaller fibrous root that's kind of growing right towards the sidewalk. We'll get rid of that. I get a little better cut on that. All right, so I have the outline of the bed edged. I've got most of the girdling roots taken care of, so they won't be future problems. And I got some mulch. This is a hardwood, really fine mulch, and I'm just gonna lightly spread it all around. And I only want to go about 2 to 3 inches deep. So you can see on my edging, I'm about 3 inches deep, so I can kind of put it up to the edge. And one thing I don't want to do is cover the base of the tree. So you can see as the tree comes down, you can see where the roots are coming out now at a good level. It's got the trunk flare or the root crown is, you don't want to get that covered up. So you just be careful on how far you put it there. Question is, did I save enough mulch to do all of it? Hopefully. And you can see I'm not going up against the trunk of the tree. Getting it nice and even all the way around. I'll grab more from the greenhouse so I can finish it up later. The last thing I want to talk about is just the benefits. So when we got a nice layer of mulch, it's going to reduce how much soil moisture evaporates into the air. If we got a good layer, it's going to hold moisture. It's going to help the tree get the nutrients it needs. It's going to insulate the soil from extreme temperatures. So when you got a hot day like today and the sun's beating down on this dirt, it's going to take all the moisture out of it, and it's going to, you know, get really hot. Where you got a nice layer of mulch, it insulates it, it protects it. Improves soil biology, soil fertility. One of the things you can see over there is all that nutrients that are packed up on top of the roots. The roots really like all them nutrients. So it makes the soil very fertile, but we don't want it up there. We want it down here. So soil fertility, soil biology, and one of the biggest things, if we got a nice ring around the tree, and when you're mowing your yard, you don't have to weed whip right next to the tree. The mower doesn't hit it, your weed whip doesn't hit it. It protects the trunk of the tree. And lastly, when it's fully mulched and finished, it looks really good. Improves the appearance of your home. I'm going to end with a couple helpful hints. First off, don't let the buildup occur. So if you're going to mulch, I would mulch like every other year. And when you do mulch, make sure you take off the excess that's broken down, and make sure you've got a nice ring around that's, you know, edged, and add more mulch. If you want to keep the color of the mulch, they have they've got mulch colorants where you can just spray this mulch and it will turn the exact same color. You can see already, like that far tree, they just mulched in April and the color has faded a bunch already. Whereas if you wanted to dress it up and make it look nice, you can get a mulch colorant, spray the mulch colorant on there, and you get the effect that you want without adding more mulch on top. And the last thing that I think would be a helpful hint is one thing that we're doing in the city now on boulevards, you know, that are 8 foot or less. Instead of putting a circle in that the mower's got to go around, we go from sidewalk to curb, put a square. People don't make mulch pyramids; they make mulch volcanoes. So, just a little helpful hint.